Welcome to the spirit world, answering your questions on angels, demons, and how the spiritual and physical worlds interact. And now your hosts, Debbie Georgianni and Adam Bly.
Well, hello there, and welcome to the spirit world. I am Debbie Georgianni with religious demonologist and co-host Adam Bly, and you today. That's right. It's our July open forum. That's where we, Adam and I, we bring no topics to the table. You do. This is your July open forum, so you get to call in and ask questions about angels, demons, anything in between. I'm going to give the number because then we're going to begin in prayer, and we're going to go right to the calls because the spirit world listeners, you love this show. You look forward to this show each and every Saturday. We want to thank the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network for sending this show all around the world. So please call in. You don't have to be Catholic to call in. And here is the number, 877-757-9424. Adam, we always begin with the St. Michael prayer.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Saint Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle. Be our protection against the wickedness and snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray. And do thou, a prince of the heavenly host, by the power of God, cast into hell Satan and all the evil spirits who prowl about the world, seeking the ruin of souls. Amen. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Adam. And we have our show team in place. Our senior producer, Tim Mott, is at the controls, making us sound crystal clear. We're being produced by the Guadalupe Radio Network, again, heard all over the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network. We have our call screeners in place, Carol and Libby. We've got Rachel monitoring social media, doing a great job. Everything is in place. Now we wait for our spirit world listeners to call in and ask their questions about angels or demons or anything in between. If they have any activity happening, any experience, they want to share something. Maybe they want to ask a question about the faith. They're not sure what's going on. We are here for you. Here's the number, 877-757-9424. It's 877-757-9424. We are very friendly. We'd love to hear from you. Open forums are very popular. Phone lines just light up and they stay lit up the entire quick hour. I think this is one of the fastest hours in Catholic media, I believe. And we go very fast, and we want to hear from you. So if you have a story to share, if you have a question to ask, this is the show to do it, 877-757-9424. But Adam, before we get to the calls, and the calls are lighting up, which is great. Our listeners have things to say about angels or demons or anything in between, the invisible world. Adam, in 1 week, Adam, we are going to be together in Plano, Texas for Guadalupe Radio Network's 25th anniversary celebration, Keeping the Promise. We're going to be with 2,000 of our closest friends, and also with Matt Marr and Father Chris Alar and Deacon Harold Burke-Sivers and Jerry Usher and Julie Carrick and Monsignor Charles Pope. And it goes on and on of all the fine folks that will be there at this great 25th anniversary celebration. Adam, I'm so looking forward to it. And I do have to tell you, I have had this week a lot of messages coming in from Spirit World listeners through Facebook. They have told me that they're driving in from all over the place to come into Plano, Texas next Saturday for this great one-day event. It's a free event, and it's sold out. It's amazing. Everybody's got a seat there. It's incredible. And they're coming in to talk about the spirit world.
Wow. I haven't really got my head around it yet because until we get closer, it won't be a real thing for me. I have to get through the week. But when you say 2,000 people, that's a lot. That's a lot of people at an event. That's wonderful. Hopefully it's going to be a lot of fun. And the best part, we get to chat with people. We won't be able to chat with 2,000 people, but probably a few hundred. So that's really nice.
Yeah, definitely. And we're so excited. Marty and I are flying in to Dallas. We're excited. Marty's going to be with me. And so if you've ever wanted to meet my husband, it's a chance to meet Marty Georgianni. He's really fun to talk to, and he's a good guy.
Great guy.
He is. He really is. I don't know
Yeah.
where he came from. I think he was dropped from heaven. I really do. He's pretty amazing. But Adam, are you seeing the calls just line up? Our first set of calls, they're ready to go.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's great. Boy,
I know.
yeah. They're almost full. We're gonna try to get through them today so that we
Okay.
get to as many people as possible.
Okay.
I
Okay,
feel
so-
bad when we run out of time.
I know, that is true. So I'm going to ask our senior producer when we're ready to bring up our first caller and introduce them. Hello, senior producer Tim.
Hi there. How you doing?
We're doing great. It's a beautiful time to have an open forum for July with our Spirit World family. I love that, and I think it's wonderful when we journey together and we leave this hour, Tim, and we're a little bit changed, a little bit closer to God. I know I say that for Take Two as well, but I really mean that. I think Catholic radio is one of these this beautiful medium to be able to be forever changed. You know, once you listen to Catholic radio, something hits you and you're like, wow, I learned something. I'm growing closer to God. And I hope that we achieve that today, Tim. What do you say?
I say let's go to our first caller. We have Jan from Springfield, Missouri, listening on the Guadalupe Radio Network app. Jan, you are on with Debbie and Adam.
Hi, Jan.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi. I'm sorry for crying, but I just recently lost my mother on June 7th. And prior to her passing, she was telling my sister that she was seeing the face of a little boy, and she didn't know who it was. And the day that she passed, one of my nieces gave birth to a baby boy. And we just wondered if she was seeing him, you know, passing, like he was coming and she was going. So we just didn't know if that's possible.
Well, I want to let Adam comment, and then I want to share a story that happened with my dad, Jan, and I'd love to hear Adam's response on that. But I will tell you that I have heard this before. I've been by the bedside of a lot of people that have passed, and it's interesting what they see and what they experience before they make that move into eternal life. So I think this is going to bring you great comfort today, and I'm glad you called in because you're representing a lot of people that have had these experiences with their loved ones, and they're kind of like, oh, should I ask this? And I'm a little bit embarrassed about it. But right.
Yeah.
But Jan, may we have your mother's first name? I brought the prayer book out from Take Two, and I have it right beside me.
Oh,
and
thank you.
Yeah, can we have her first name?
Her name is Bonnie.
Bonnie. Okay, I'm so sorry for your
Yeah.
loss, but I want to let
Thank
Adam
you.
comment first.
Yeah, Jan. So first off, I'm very sorry that your mom died. I hope it was a good death and she was properly prepared, and
She was, and she got apostolic pardon too.
yeah, so wonderful, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't
Yeah.
ask for a better leaving this life and heading to your judgment. So
Right.
wonderful, and so
Right.
many people will be praying for her now that will hear this, and that's super helpful. If she has
Thank
some
you.
things to work through in purgatory, like that's a great blessing. So yeah, I have found it really fascinating. Like, yes, I've been around people that are about to die, and I've been with a couple people as they died, close relatives, and I don't know about you, Deb, but seeing loved ones, passed on loved ones is super common when people are getting ready to go. It's very often their parents. I've also found it really interesting. There's a number of hospice nurses that have had careers in hospice that have done interviews, basically, or videos about what they see over and over and over. And it's such a common thing that what they call it visioning, that when somebody starts seeing their dead loved ones, they know they're about to die, like within 2 days, basically, more or less, very soon. And it's like, it's just a known thing. It's a normal thing in that world, in the hospice world. So could it have been that nephew? Who knows? We don't know. I can tell you that, from listening to a lot of these hospice nurses, they're describing cases where medically the person's lucid and with it, and they're not on medication that could cause hallucinations, and they don't have low blood oxygen that could cause hallucinations. They talk about cases where medically there shouldn't be anything going on. So you don't want to just dismiss it and wave your hand and say, oh, that's just because the body's dying. The person's lucid otherwise and intact.
Right.
So I would just take comfort in that. It could have been a loved one from the family that died young. That's a possibility too.
That's exactly what I want to share. So Jan, let me share this with you because it was so obvious to us in our family. When my dad was about a week away from dying, and Adam just said it right there, and I believe I feel that's a confirmation from God. My dad, he was totally aware of everything. He wasn't on any kind of medication, anything. I mean, he was totally with it, and he was communicating well. My dad saw a little boy, a little toddler running around his bed, excited to see him, couldn't wait to see him. And he kept running around the bed, and he would say to my mother, he'd say, Connie, my mother's name was Connie. He'd say, Connie, who is this little kid that's in the room? And my mother would say, there's no one here. He says, I'm not going crazy. There's a little kid here. He's excited to meet me. It was so obvious, Jan, to us as a family. My dad's brother died at 2 years old, and my dad always wanted to meet his brother. He always wanted to meet him, and we believe that little boy that was running around his bed, waiting and so excited to see him, was his little brother. Yes.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah. And here's the thing,
beautiful.
Jan. Here's the thing, Jan. When you have stories like this from people who, like my dad was so logical, my dad never made up things. He never embellished things. He never did anything like that. He was very practical. And I mean, for them to be so certain that they see this or they know, the invisible world, we have to believe. I mean, it's just important for us to enter in with those spiritual eyes and understand that it's a much bigger world out there than what we're living in. What do you say, Adam?
Yeah, this is one of the places where, it happens with people with near-death experiences too. They tend to, the curtain's kind of partly pulled back between the physical and the spiritual. And, they see things that, like the example you gave, Deb, later gets confirmed, like that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's one of these things God allows us that kind of points to the reality of the spiritual world, and he allows these signs for us and to share these stories to encourage
Exactly.
one another,
And don't you say, Adam, that Jan, I hope this brings you such peace and joy and I know that it's so hard to lose a mom. I get it. I know I feel the same way when I lost my mom, but I will tell you that to know that everyone on the other side of the veil, everybody's alive and it's this idea of it's outside of time and so this death is, yes, this is a moment that we all experience here, but it's not the end. It's the beginning of a whole new world. And I mean, it's amazing when you have that bigger picture, Jan, we can get through anything in this world called that we encounter in life. And we look forward to when we're all in that beatific vision, God willing. So Jan, God bless you for sharing with us. You probably represented a lot of people that have had experiences. Yeah. And we just thank you and just know that prayers are with your family.
Thank you so much. I
Thank
appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Jan. Don't you agree, Adam? I know we're going to go to the first break, and then we'll get back. We have Javier and Lisa and Molly and Fernanda. And also we had a question that came in about demons being attached or assigned, a devil assigned to each individual person. We're going to actually hold that question for our mailbag edition, which is next Saturday, because that is a very interesting topic, and I think we should dive into it. That's next Saturday. So thank you for calling in. I know you couldn't stay on the line, but if you do have a question or you want to share your story, please call in 877-757-9424. We have an open phone line just for you here on The Spirit World, and Adam and I will be right back.
The Spirit World continues with Debbie Georgianni and Adam Bly. If you have a question for the show, call 877-757-9424 or email tsw@grnonline.com.
Okay, we are back with our open forum for July, and we're so glad that you are calling in and sharing your stories, your questions, and very important. Just to get back to the topic that I was addressing before we went to the break, it was Sandy from Yakima, Washington on Sacred Heart Radio. Sandy has a question about, do we have an assigned devil to us like we have an assigned angel, guardian angel? Sandy, that is a very important question, and that is coming up quite frequently now. And so Adam and I will address that on next Saturday on our mailbag edition. Why? Because that's going to take a whole segment to talk about. I have a real problem with this being circulated like this, Adam. And not from Sandy. Sandy's asking a great question, but I will tell you that it's coming up in a lot of talks on angels and demons. People are very frightened that they have a guardian angel on one shoulder and a demon on the other. They're not liking that feeling. So Adam and I are going to address this, Sandy, next Saturday on our mailbag edition. It'll be our first question that we will answer. So just wanted you to be ready for that, because we do have almost full phone lines. We're waiting for that last open phone line to be filled at 877-757-9424. Adam, before we ask our senior producer, Tim, to bring up the next caller on air with us, do you have any more comments about Jan from Springfield, Missouri, about this beautiful situation where loved ones who are passing, they are already encountering, everything outside of time? It's really quite beautiful. Anything else you want to share?
Oh, just, again, thank you, Jan, for calling, because many people have wondered about this or have heard this or seen this go on. And, so people out there that want to pray for Bonnie, and don't forget, no prayer is wasted. So if Bonnie is already in heaven, God willing, those prayers will go to somebody else. But it's a wonderful opportunity to pray for the dead, which is something we try to, remember to do. It's a big part of the church in terms of our Catholic life and our walk is to charitably pray for the dead.
Well, now you bring up the fact that we won Best Radio Program for Praying for the Dead for the Gabriel Awards a couple weeks ago. So we're very excited about that. And actually, when I got to receive the award on behalf of Guadalupe Radio Network, I was so excited to share that, Adam, that it was so important that we do pray for the souls in purgatory and for those who have no one to pray for them. And it was very powerful. There were some priests in the audience, and they thanked me for saying that, to remind people to pray for the dead. So yeah, it's exciting, very, very exciting times. And this is a wonderful opportunity for us to have this live radio program, to come together and to really grow in our faith and to be confident, be spiritually confident as we walk through life. Tim, our next caller, please.
Javier from San Antonio, Texas, listening on the EWTN.com website. You are on with Debbie and Adam.
Hi,
Javier,
good morning.
thank you. Good morning. Go right ahead.
Yes, so what prompted my call is that I was visited by a couple of Mormon missionaries a couple of weeks ago. Pretty friendly. They gave me a couple of tracts, invited me to their church. I'm a practicing Catholic, go to confession and communion when I can, and go to Mass every week. Anyway, my question is there teaching from the Catholic Church about dealing with non-Catholic spiritualities, especially the Mormon Church, which I think teaches many things that are not compatible with Catholic teaching? Like, can I pray with Mormons? Can I attend their baptisms? Can I read the Book of Mormon? Is there any teaching about caution dealing with that?
So Javier, that's an interesting question. It's a little bit complicated. So certainly you can pray with people, but not in the sense of like going to a service and acknowledging, praying to like their theological figures. So right. They have different ideas about who Jesus was. They have some odd ideas, and so you don't want to be like part of reciting their prayers that have a different theology that isn't truthful. So you want to avoid that. you can pray and, you could both be praying for somebody. So let's say somebody's in the hospital and maybe they're likely to pass soon, and they have some relatives that are Mormon, and you're all standing there. You could pray for that person, and they can be praying for that person, just praying in your own way. That of course would be fine.
Or grace before meals or something of that nature. Mm-hmm. that is something like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now reading things from, books from other religions, of course you're free to read those. There's no restriction, it's sinful, but I would see it more as reading it to understand it.
For research?
As research. Mm-hmm. So you may end up having a conversation with a Mormon one day that knocks on your door. And, it's not your job to stand there for 12 hours and try to convert them and argue every point. But we do have a duty to charitably interact and defend the faith and explain the faith. And knowing their take on things and their worldview and their system helps you do that in a more effective way. So I would see it more as research. What do you think, Deb?
Absolutely. And Javier, here's how it used to be answered at the parish level in the Diocese of Phoenix, where I live. You live in San Antonio, Texas. I live in right outside of Phoenix, Arizona. And if you look up the LDS Church, the Latter-day Saints, the Mormon Church, you'll see that obviously in Salt Lake City, Utah is where their home base is. But also we have two huge temples in Arizona. We have one in Mesa, Arizona, one in Gilbert, Arizona, which I can actually almost see from my backyard. That's how close it is to where I live, Javier. So as you can tell, there's a very strong, very active group in where I live that they're wonderful. In fact, my next door neighbor is Mormon, and they're wonderful to have as neighbors and friends, and it's beautiful. But I will tell you that I think as Catholics, this is just me talking now, Javier. I'm not representing the Catholic Church or representing, Guadalupe Radio Network or EWTN. This is just me talking personally, working in ministry for many years. Here's what I would recommend for Catholics that are encountering people of other beliefs and faiths. There are so many YouTube videos by very strong Catholics out there that describe, then they've done a deep dive into different religions. There are so many. You've got Tim Staples, you've got from Catholic Answers, you've got, I could go on and on of how many great Catholic apologists that have done deep dives into other faiths. What I would suggest to do is to go on to one of these approved EWTN videos or on YouTube and get a strong Catholic speaker and learn about this other faith, rather than picking up the Book of Mormon or doing other things like that. And I'll tell you why. Because unless you're doing research, unless you're writing a paper, unless you're giving a report on something, it's important for us as Catholics, because our religion is so vast and it takes a lifetime, beyond, 10 lifetimes to learn it. We should know our own faith first. And I think the curiosity factor of going into all these other religions and we're trying to learn all about them, and it's taking us off the mark. It's taking us off focus. So I would suggest learning as much as you can learn about your own Catholic faith. If you want to learn about these other faiths, the beauty of it is these YouTube videos that are usually only less than 30 minutes long from great Catholic apologists will get you up to speed, so you know how to interact when they do knock on your door, like Jehovah's Witnesses or LDS or any other faith, belief, or tradition. You'll know how to interact, and you'll know what your responsibility is as a Catholic, how to answer, when to say that you're willing to, say a prayer with them or not. But I would not engage like being taking your time, your Catholic walk time, to go to a baptism of LDS, a Mormon, when we don't acknowledge their baptism. We do not acknowledge their baptisms. So my point is be careful what you put your time to. What do you say, Adam, before we go back to Javier?
Yeah. And, touching on we have limited time is a big one. So like Deb said, the great summaries that people have done the work already, studying, these books. And there's tons of other documents that they have that they consider authoritative within that church, and it has changed and morphed over time. It's a rabbit hole that'll end up taking up way too much of your time, and you'll never get to it all. So yeah, the good summaries from qualified people, that is one of the great things about the internet.
Right. What do you say, Javier? We'd like to leave you the last comments.
This is great counsel. Thank you both for your time.
Okay. Thank
God
you.
bless you.
Thank you. I mean, I encounter it all the time. I mean, I literally this morning, there was a knock on my door from Jehovah's Witnesses. So, I mean, I get it. I understand that we are, and what is our role? What is our responsibility? But we do have to be careful with our time is precious, guys. And we're trying to get home to God. And so it's important to use your time wisely and to go as deep as you possibly can in your own Catholic faith and your own walk. Well, I know you agree with that, Adam, because that's why we even started this show, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Okay, can we say hello to our next caller before we go to break, Tim?
Sure. We have Molly from Buffalo, New York, listening on the Station of the Cross. Molly, you are on with Debbie and Adam.
Hello there.
Hi, Molly.
How are you?
We're great now that you called. Thank you so much. You go right ahead.
Okay. Well, about 10 years ago, I was going to Mass quite a bit. I've been Catholic. I'm a cradle Catholic. But friends of mine asked me to go to church with them. And I ended up going to a Unity church.
Okay.
I didn't know what it was. And it went for about a year, like on and off. And they do meditations. And I send it to your spirits. Like lots of times out and have conversations. Like I was talking to Mother Mary or Jesus, and the spirit would come in. And for a while there, it was all nice and everything. And then a couple of years back, it got demonic, and the spirit said that they hated me, and that they were going to have the whole world scream at my head. They hated me until I went crazy. And I talked to Jeanette Williams about it. She said, don't talk to him, you know what I mean? But sometimes I'll be praying, and it comes in, and, and it sounds like guidance that, for the most part, but sometimes it's something else that comes in. So how do you stop from doing that if it starts?
Right. Well, let me let Adam comment, but I want to ask you a question. Are you're back practicing your Catholic faith? Have you gone to confession?
Yeah.
Have you gone to confession and talked to the priest about this?
Well, I have, but they didn't really know what unity was. So, I haven't talked about the spirit. So no.
Oh, okay. Well, you do want to maybe make an appointment outside of confession and just talk to the priest about this and bring some information if he doesn't understand the Unity Church, and what that opens up by way of New Age or occult practices or anything like that. So it might help to educate the priest. But also, Molly, you need to feel at peace with this. Molly, that's why I was waiting for Adam. I want Adam to comment after the break. Okay, this is very important, and I think what Molly is sharing can help others today who have maybe been invited to other services, and this is kind of goes along even with what Javier said. So we're going to give Adam ample time to really answer this, so we can put everybody's mind at ease. Okay, when we come back from this break, this is the Spirit World. It's our open forum for July. We do have one open phone line at 877-757-9424, and please like us on Facebook at the Spirit World Podcast. We will post some additional articles after the show that can maybe help you to get further catechized, and we'll be right back.
The Spirit World continues with Debbie Georgianni and Adam Bly. If you have a question for the show, call 877-757-9424 or email tsw@grnonline.com.
Okay, we are back for our open forum. We're going to go very fast now. We've got Molly from Buffalo, New York with us, who attended a Unity Church services, Adam, for I believe over a year, and now it's kind of staying with her in various ways, and it's really you can hear in her voice how emotional she is. This is bothersome to her because she is a Catholic, a practicing Catholic. So, Adam, please address this when people do. Well, entertain an invitation when somebody says, hey, come to my church, or check this out, or I want to invite you to this service. It can be very dangerous. Adam?
Okay, Molly. So really important question, call, just topic that you're bringing up. I've seen tons of these situations over the years, over these last 20 years. I've talked to lots of people with a very similar story, Molly, where they got involved in some fringy, either new agey or cultish or, occult group at some point. And typically there's some, guidance to give a direct invitation to a supposed spirit guide or some other good spiritual figure, and the person's invited to invite them to counsel them and guide them and talk to them and all of this stuff. Sometimes there's a laying on of hands where they ask people to submit to a laying on of hands. And like, for instance, in Reiki, during the third level, the Reiki Master Initiation, you have to explicitly say that you invite the Reiki spirit to connect with you to facilitate this stuff. So sometimes there's an act of the will is done there. And they play nice for a while, so they'll pretend to be good, but then they start getting more and more bossy. And if you get around the true faith and you go to church, they start getting angry and punishing you, and then pretty soon they're telling you to kill yourself all the time and that you're terrible and worthless, and it kind of spirals down into what they really are over time. So, of course, Molly, you want to rule out mental illness, which is just reasonable. So I don't know if you've talked with doctors and maybe just checked on that to check that off the list.
I don't know what to say about it.
Have they tried medication with you?
They have. It doesn't really have much of an effect. I mean, I can do it with the medication or without. I mean, it happens.
All right. So, Molly, here's what you need to do. Number one, never talk to these things. Try not to respond to them at all. So, meaning if something's bothering you, talk to Jesus. Talk to Mary. Do not respond to it. Don't even say, shut up and leave me alone. Talk to Jesus. Lord, I don't want this thing. Please make it go away. I only want you in my life. Whatever your prayer is, you're talking to God. You're talking, to a figure. You're talking to your patron saint. You're talking to a figure in heaven. Don't interact with them.
So, Adam, just to be clear, if these things kind of creep up or kind of are a little bit haunting, never address them. Go straight to Jesus.
Right. Okay. Exactly.
And I always do. I'm always talking to the Mother Mary or Jesus when this happens.
Great.
It doesn't happen unless I'm talking to them.
Right, because they're trying to interfere with that relationship with Jesus and Mary, because that's what's a threat to them. They want to keep you away from the truth. Okay, Molly, so the other piece that you need to do is you do need to talk with your priest about it, and if they're not comfortable with or know much about deliverance prayers, once you've talked to your pastor, and make sure you do that first, you can ask your pastor, is there some priest in the diocese that is specialized in this, that does know about it?
That's right.
And if he says, well, I don't really know, then you can, drop an email to the central office of your diocese, usually called the Pastoral Center, and say, hey, I'm in this situation. Do you have any priests in the diocese that are well-versed in deliverance prayers? Because here's the thing, Molly. I don't know to what extent you opened the door back then when you were doing stuff with this Unity Church, but they probably guided you through, inviting a spirit guide to attach with you and guide you in some way. By that act of the will, you kind of let them into your life. It's going to take some direct prayer in most cases to command them to leave. So number one, you confess it and you say, and make sure you confess it like clearly, I did this, I made this invitation, I renounce it, I reject it, and I'm sorry, and I do that in sacramental confession. I do that in the reconciliation. And then you need deliverance prayers to command them to go. So it's kind of like, think of it this way, Molly. You let somebody in borrow your apartment while you were out of town, and you come back and they've trashed the place. And you say, look, this wasn't the agreement, get out, and they say no, you then call the cops. So the first step is breaking the relationship and the permission that you gave. The second step is calling the cops, because they're not going to want to leave on their own. And the cops are going to a priest of the church, okay?
Okay.
You can do it.
But Adam, let me just ask you this quick question before we let Molly go. And I know others, I just got another message. Somebody else has a similar situation to Molly. So Molly, you're not alone. So just know that you helped others today. So she goes to the priest. She talks to the priest. She asks for somebody who's in deliverance ministry at the church to help her with this. How about having the home blessed? Get the home blessed. How about wearing yesterday was the feast of St. Benedict. How about getting a blessed St. Benedict medal and wearing it on, or a miraculous medal? So Molly, there are things that you can be doing, even beginning today, to start to help you in this area so that it can free you from this. So just keep that in mind, Molly. We're going to be praying, but we want you to actively go and seek out that priest who's going to listen to you, okay?
Okay, very good. Thank
Okay.
you. I appreciate it.
You got a lot of prayers, Molly. I mean, you probably have at least a couple dozen prayers going up to heaven for you right now, Molly. So feel those good prayers, okay? Okay.
Okay.
God bless you. Beautiful soul. What a beautiful soul. See, this is what happens, Adam, when we entertain these other things. Like you said, you're opening the door, and it's very dangerous. Okay, Tim, where are we going next?
We're going to Syracuse, New York for Lisa, listening on the Sirius XM app. Lisa, you are on with Debbie and Adam.
Welcome, Lisa.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello. Hi.
Hello. You go right ahead.
So actually mine does piggyback with Molly's, and just I want Molly to know that I'm praying for her as well, because I did not entertain any of this coming into my life, but unfortunately I work with a group of people that I believe are, do the Wiccan or the whatever, that New Age stuff you were just talking about. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately everything I talk about with my family at my own home, colors that I wear when I choose in the morning, I come in and they're all wearing them. There's also, I don't really know what to do, because I believe that somehow they have sent a spirit to just be able to see everything that I'm doing, and it's very scary. I actually have gone to confession. I spoke with a priest, and he did do a prayer over me. However, it doesn't work, because there was this quickly is I always go to adoration every day at the church that's next to my work, and one day I ended up going to adoration, and this woman was outside the church, and she's like, "Oh, do you need prayers?" And it was just very strange, and I said sure, and I explained the situation, and she said, "Well, let me give you a hug." And when she gave me a hug, where her head was, I now feel like this sensation of like numbing, or like I'm being choked whenever some people at work, and I know it sounds strange, it's very odd, but they make these weird like loud bucket noises and tap on their desk, and when they do that I start feeling the sensation. I know it's just, there's so much to it, but that's basically it, and I just don't know what to do from here. I really don't know.
And are you a practicing Catholic, Lisa?
I am. Oh, yes. I mean,
okay.
That's my life.
Okay, good,
Yeah.
good. Let let Adam share what he needs to direct you in.
Yeah. So okay. Lisa, first off, you're in a state of grace. You're receiving communion. You're going to adoration. You don't have anything to fear from people maybe, through spirits having hidden information, like knowing hidden things, like knowing things from a distance. That's one of the classic signs of possession that the church uses to diagnose possession. That's not the only one, but that's one of them. And that's because, the enemy is around, like they're allowed to tempt us our entire lives. Yeah. So you shouldn't worry about whether there's some spirit around. Focus on Jesus, focus on your guardian angel. Those are the spirits that are also always around. Jesus is everywhere, of course, because he created everything. He's God. But you focus on that presence, because both presences are in our lives all the time. And you just, come to terms with that and let it go, because they've always been there your whole life. You're just becoming more aware of it now. So really, you're okay. You're in a much more powerful position than
Really?
these fallen creatures. So, secondly, pray for them. Pray for these people, particularly when you're at adoration. Forgive them and pray for them. Tell Jesus as sincerely as you can that you forgive them. Pray for them to receive the grace to realize what they're messing around with. Now, are you sure they're involved in the occult?
Well, I don't know. I don't know, but I just know that it's like a group of 6 of them, and it's very strange. I can't even prove any of it. It's just, I do know somehow I don't know.
And how old are you, Lisa? How old are you?
I'm 55, and the group ranges from like my boss to like who's like probably 40 and down to like in their 20s. So I don't know.
And how long ago did this weird stuff start?
About, I don't know, 6 months ago.
Okay. Did you have these experiences previously in life?
No, never. And I do know it started with this woman who wanted to befriend me at work, and I went to lunch with her once in a while, and like it was just odd. She would talk to like she was this, and then all of a sudden things started happening where she would repeat stuff maybe to like other people, and so like I distanced myself from her. But ever since I distanced myself from her, they they creepily come by me. They go by my office all the time and stare in at me, and like I said, they make these noises, and I get that sensation of that, and then they have conversations where they're repeating exactly what I said the night before, and they're wearing the same exact colors that I wear every day I come into work.
Okay, Lisa. So given your age and that this just started and you didn't have these odd experiences before, it's much less likely that that's mental illness or a brain issue coming on unless there's a new infection or something that just happened. So it's less likely that this is mental illness. Again, if all they have is they know some things about like the colors of the clothes you're going to wear, really that's no big deal. So what? The enemy knows those kind of things. That's not any great power over you. That's just playing games. That's just a parlor trick.
Right.
So don't let that faze you. Again, forgiving and praying for them, like maybe, and I'm not saying you need to stay there and be in distress or anything, but Jesus has put you in this situation where you have an opportunity, to really pray for these people, especially at adoration.
Yeah, Adam.
I was actually thinking that.
Let me just add this to the conversation, Lisa, real quickly. I have a friend who a similar situation happened at work, and she chose to bring sacramentals very, very carefully into the workplace. And she would get there before everyone else, and she'd sprinkle holy water, and she would also have blessed salt. And she had. I'm sorry, Lisa.
I actually do that. I have I have holy water, and every morning I spray it around my office.
Good. Continue to do that, because it took about a month, and she felt it, everything calming down, and that was really powerful for her, and actually it gave her a lot of confidence to still stay in that workplace. I will tell you that there came a time where she was discerning getting out of that workplace. So I would also keep that as in mind too, Lisa, because this is one thing I just want to say to you, Lisa, just from as a life coaching standpoint. You're spending most of your waking hours at work. You don't need this kind of stress and tension. It's going to take a toll on you. Okay, so if it continues, be praying or being open to possibly changing your line of work to get away from these people. Because when you say, Adam, I don't think that's healthy at all for her to be 8 hours a day around these people. Yeah,
and pray and ask God to open whatever door or through his providence, give you another situation if that's his will.
Right.
Okay. Yes, I will. Thank you so much. You guys have helped me so much. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. But Lisa, like Adam has taught me so. I mean, I'm so grateful to Adam when he says, Deb, these demons, these temptations are always going to be around you. It's what you focus on. So keep your focus on Jesus. Keep your focus on Mary, the angel, the holy angels, and the saints, and you can get through it, Lisa. You really can. Okay. So, and we're praying for you. And Molly called back, and she said she can relate to what you're saying to Lisa, and she thanks you for the prayers, and she's praying for you. So everybody's praying for each other now. Okay,
Yay.
Lisa.
Good.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah, we got to stick together. Absolutely, Lisa. God bless you. Okay. Tim, we're going to get to our last caller today. Okay, we have...
There we go. Last caller is Elizabeth from New York, listening on, actually watching our YouTube live. GRN Online is the YouTube channel. Here is Elizabeth.
Beautiful. We wave to you, Elizabeth. Take it away.
Hi, how are you? I called in last month. I was the one who was the ex-New Ager, and I found the St. Benedict medal.
Mm-hmm. Yes, welcome
Hi.
back. Yes, thank you.
Hi.
Yeah.
Thank
Go
you
right
so
ahead.
much. So just, again, piggybacking on everything else, and also from the first, from what the first caller spoke about. And like I said, I've been involved in New Age, and I've stopped doing that. And Adam, I was actually reading your book, and you spoke about how you can acquire particular abilities when you're doing, depending on how long you're involved in that life of the occult. So I just wanted to know, because when the first caller spoke about seeing a little boy running around the bed and whatnot, and just the proper discernment between some people having dreams about something and coming to fruition, and then also just the discernment between that, because even when I was younger, before I knew about any of this stuff, I would have sort of, I guess you could say, prophetic dreams. And like I said, I don't want any abilities now. I just said I want absolutely nothing. And if it's from God and it's something that I was supposed to have, then so be it, thy will be done. But is there kind of a discernment between what God gives us, and I guess what someone, it would be a seer, and the gifts, and then what is acquired throughout the years?
Okay, so obviously we could write a short book on this topic, but here's the Cliff Notes, Elizabeth. So first off, playing around with the occult and getting fairly into that, it's not that so much that you acquire abilities, but the enemy gives you the illusion of having these abilities. They basically do these things, and they kind of tell you that you're the one with powerful gifts that you've activated in yourself, and you need to go further, and you're going to be the high priestess, or queen of whatever. They're always puffing up the ego. So it's the enemy giving the sham of an ability. Now, a genuine kind of charism given from God is given for some ministry that God wants you to do in this life, some role in this life, and those gifts are legitimate. And they come from the Creator, and they're linked to, or they're working with, commensurate with, what you're here to do in this life. When you pursue the occult, it's not about thy will be done, what gifts you've given to do the work you want me to do. The occult is my will be done. I want to get these powers, and that way I can get what I want out of the world and out of other people, and I can control things and push away bad things and draw good things to myself. It's about ego. It's about the self. And that's the difference between, that's the difference between God and pursuing the selfishness, which is black magic and the occult. So the great thing to do, and I've found this to be really helpful over the years in working with people, I think your position's great. Don't pursue anything. If God wants to do something, he'll do it. And when in doubt, and you need to do this sincerely, ask Jesus to take away anything that isn't from him. And you need to be willing to give up whatever parlor trick the enemy is using to keep you chained to some practice or some belief system, where they hold that out as like the cookie of like, keep playing with this stuff and you'll get these neat powers, and it's just them doing it. It's a sham. But you need to sincerely be willing to give that up and ask Jesus to take away it if it's not from him. And I've seen so many cases where right away, like, it's gone. And it's such an eye-opener for people. So that would be the way I would pursue it. Discerning between dreams, it's difficult because we dream about lots of stuff and we dream about common stuff, and sometimes it happens. I really wouldn't worry about it. I wouldn't worry about it one way or the other. Pretty much ignore it. They're dreams. Trust in God's providence. Trust in God's providence in your waking life. his permissive will, his active will, pursue that life of obedience to God, that relationship with Jesus, and don't worry about dreams too much.
Mm-hmm. Well said, Adam. What do you say, Elizabeth?
So much. That's great because, like I said, I had struggled with I don't want anything left over and thy will be done. That's kind of been my motto now. Okay, just thy will be done. But because I was in it for 12 years, and it's interesting, again, how everything from the previous callers and Adam from your book, when you mentioned that it starts out as kind and loving, and then the oppression happens, and you get the nasty voices, you just get the darkness, so to speak. That was happening, so I feel like I'm still kind of shedding all of that. And every day I just said, I don't want anything. I want, if I'm just more sensitive and it's a gift from God, so be it. I welcome it and I trust it. So thank you for the clarification. And honestly, just hearing, ignore it. It's a dream. That's just a huge weight off my shoulders as well.
Right.
So
there you go, Elizabeth. Thank you so much. Thanks for staying in touch with us. We appreciate it. You hear that music? I told you this was a fast hour in Catholic radio, so I got to do all the thank yous now, and also saying I'm sorry we couldn't get to Gabe and the others that were waiting on the line, maybe for the next open forum for August. Elisa, we got your prayer intentions for everyone that you wanted to add to the prayer book from Spokane, Washington. We've got that in the book. Want to thank all of the chats going on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, X, Rumble, TikTok, and Twitch. Thanks, you guys. Thank you to the show team, Tim, Carol, Libby, Rachel. What a great show team we have. Thank you to EWTN for carrying the broadcast. Okay, that'll do it, guys. For Adam Bly, I'm Debbie Georgiani. Until next Saturday, have a beautiful and blessed week. We'll see you real soon.